Hello.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Hello. Hello. Sorry, I was doing my research phase.
It looks like you have a very strange hat on, the way your ceiling fan and your head.
Do
It
you like
does.
my hat? I'm like the Statue of Liberty. That's funny. How funny. It's not my funny hat, everybody. I have my work hair still. I'm still wearing my work clothes. So, yep.
I love you.
While I'm researching. So how are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm doing well.
Good.
This is my baby right now.
I had a shirt at work that was an Enzo shirt, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could take a picture.
It's a Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't a Hawaiian shirt. It actually had, it was like, I think it had like spaceships on it, but it was like, it looked like if you could mix like a 50s and a bowling shirt, but it was real bright colors, and it had like spaceships on it, flying saucers.
I have a couple of those that I wear.
Yeah, I was like, this shirt looks like an Enzo shirt. Yep. I thought of you. There's all kind. It's funny because I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that. I don't know if I'm allowed to. So my second job that I got is at Goodwill, and it's awesome. I love it. It's fun, actually. So when we get like a bag of clothes, like the other day, I think the person was a surgeon, and I'm all trying to guess like their lives just based off their clothing. But I'm pretty sure she was a surgeon because those little caps, there was like all her scrubs and then the little surgeon caps were in there, and then her white doctor coat. And I was like, and then she had really cool clothes. I was like, wow, she dressed well when she was a real person. So I thought that was neat. I was like, that's cool. Yeah. So that's interesting. But anyway, Susie, we were going to say what I would talk to you about, what's in your mouth.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to say early? Okay. So yeah, I told Susie that I found out something about an ingredient that's used in like everything that surprised me, and so it made me wonder like else is in our food. So citric acid is made. Well, okay, so the citric acid that they use in our food that's produced so that for high volume or whatever is made from black mold. Everybody. Black mold. That's what I said. Let me see if I can pronounce. So I thought I'd ask Chat GPT. I said, is citric acid made from black mold? And it said yes. Commercially produced, that's the word I was looking for. Commercially produced citric acid is often made using a fermentation process involving a strain of black mold called Aspergillus niger. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah. So the mold is grown in a sugar-rich solution derived from corn or molasses, and during fermentation, the mold produces citric acid as a metabolic byproduct. I can't talk. So then the citric acid is then extracted, purified, and crystallized for use in food, pharmaceuticals, and industrial applications. And nothing should ever be able to be used in all three of those things. Don't you guys think? Like, I don't think that like whatever could be used for industrial applications and in pharmaceuticals shouldn't be in, I don't know, but whatever. And it's like, why use Aspergillus niger? Well, it efficiently converts sugars into citric acid. The process is cost effective compared to extracting citric acid from citrus fruits. So rather than getting it from the place where you should get it from, we're going to find the thing that makes you real sick and that's real old, and we're going to extract it from poison and say that we purify it and then put it in everything. It's like, wow, black mold is terrible for us. Yes. Like as a realtor, I'm like, if we see if there's black mold in the house, that's bad. That's very bad.
Dude, that'll give you the
It's
sickness.
extremely bad.
Well, yeah, you have to have like a whole like set of people come in, and they have like, yeah, mold is like not
That's full hazmat suits in the works
right,
to get rid of it.
right. Yeah, and I've never actually had a house or anything with black. I've seen it in a house before in a bank-owned property once. It was crawling up the garage wall, like all the walls.
Isn't that black mold, that
Yeah,
stuff that crawls up? Because I've seen
black
it
mold.
too,
Well, yes, it
but
will crawl
someone
up,
told me
but
that it wasn't black mold, but I thought
it
so. I thought so.
it can make you really sick. And if you already have like, I don't know, I feel like there's people like, I feel like my aunt and Shelly, like their bodies are really sensitive to things, and I feel like there's people that have things wrong with them and can't figure out what it is, and it's like, well, it might be all these weird things they put in our food, because it's like, and it's not even necessary. Nobody asked me if I was okay with having black mold instead of natural citric acid. You know, did we all get to vote on that? I don't think so. We didn't. And
Right.
it's
So I
like, I
wonder
don't,
what has the
Until
highest
this,
citric acid in it.
everything has citric acid in it, everything, because it's a preservative. But nobody also asked me if I want to get my food from 5,000 miles away,
What has the
you
highest
know,
citric
so that it has
acid?
to be preserved or whatever. It's like, it would make so much more sense for us to all get our food from, like, I don't know, our backyard.
backyard, yeah.
Right? And
It
carry
kind
it
of
into the
almost,
camp.
because you never know what, I mean, you look at something like a bag of Doritos or something like that, you read the back of it, you can't pronounce most of what's in there. You
Oh,
know,
right. Well, like I have a few examples right here, actually. I have props. See? Check me out. I did my homework.
So it says
Yeah.
here that it's in soft drinks, jams, jellies, anything that's got preserves. It's a preservative and a flavoring agent. It's
I
in
know it's in
convenience
candy.
foods. Yep.
yuck.
Yeah, yuck. It says it has benefits though.
Probably if it comes from a lemon, but not if it's a byproduct of fermentation, fermenting black mold. I
Right.
bet it can't have benefits. I mean, unless they're lying to us about black mold, maybe we should all be eating black mold. You know, maybe
I don't think that would be a
maybe
good
it's great for us, and they were lying about that. Oh no, thank you. You put it in the microwave? I think you're supposed to put it in the toaster. That's what I put it in the toaster. Oh my bad. Oh wait, no, I baked it in the thing. Sorry. So yeah, my son was talking to me about, you know, how when you see a whole bunch of ingredients on something that's like really supposed to be something simple, like that's not a good sign.
Right. We all need to start eating like organic and stop eating all this processed shit, man.
Well,
But I mean,
organic isn't even really organic though. It's like they still allow some poison or some amount of like pesticides, or you know, like the fact that the FDA can be like it's generally safe and they put quotation marks is weird, man. It's just weird. And so so another thing, oh, go ahead, Susie.
no, I didn't have anything.
Oh, another thing that I learned is that, which everybody I guess already knew this, so I'm just new on learning it, but that red dye is made from smashed bugs, but it's either smashed bugs or it's petroleum, you know, which is a byproduct of getting gasoline or making gasoline. So red dye is either bugs or petroleum, but it's always one of those two. Yay. I know. And I'm a sucker gal and a candy gal. And I'm like, everything also has that in it. And why though?
Yeah,
Like
why?
why do you think that they choose that?
Probably because it's cheaper than some other alternative thing. And it's like, okay, it won't directly kill you if you have a bunch of this. You'd have to have, tons, probably you'd have to consume, 20 pounds of the red dye to kill you, kind of a thing. But over a period of a lifetime, I feel like that would probably not be good.
Well, with all
we have a lot of stomach cancer. We have a lot of that's why we have a lot of cancer, you guys, because of the shit that they're feeding us.
Well, if you got to consider too that it's not, that's just one thing, but you look at how many one things they're putting in our food and in our water and in our whatever. So like another ingredient I keep seeing on things is reduced iron. And I'm like, what is that? Like, why is that in everything? So I Googled reduced iron, and it says reduced iron powder used as a food additive is a form of elemental iron produced by reducing iron oxide to its elemental state. And it's used for food fortification to increase iron content. Okay, so they're just fortifying our food with iron because why? Like, are we all anemic? Did they take all of our blood and we all need iron? Like, why are they automatically fortifying the food with iron without knowing that? Because in some people, that's not like a good thing.
Of course, iron oxide, which they pull it out of, that's rust. That's what rust is.
Yeah. So like they're putting rust in food and telling us it's because it's good for us because we need it. It's like, dude, what
you
the heck?
need a certain percentage of, specific vitamins and minerals and stuff like that to maintain.
Right, but you can get iron in a moringa tree. You could get easily your daily value of iron just eating a branch of a moringa tree, or
actually the like really big source of iron that you could eat but everyone hates it is liver. Liver
right?
is loaded with iron.
Ew.
Right.
I kind of enjoy a little liver. It's like once a year kind of a thing. It's like, a little liver and onions. But after that, it's like, yeah, I'm good for another year.
Yeah, and there's lots of vegetation that has iron in it. So there's all kinds of places to find iron other than rust, and for the red food dye, it's like, why do we?
It's because it's cheaper. They could have a, old hunk of metal laying out back. They can harvest the rust off of it, and go in and do whatever it is they're doing to it to separate the oxygen, the oxide part from the iron, and then just use the iron.
Why do they care about how much iron we're all getting? Like, do they really care about how much iron we're all getting when they're literally feeding us crap all the time?
They actually use that they would use that as a advertising thing. It's like enriched with 11 herbs and spices. I almost said enriched with minerals and vitamins for your health, kind of a thing. Like
so as a marketing ploy.
Yeah, breakfast cereals. They're like, eat whatever, Honey Nut Cheerios because it's fortified with, meaning they added to it. It's not like a natural byproduct of the oats and whatever else goes into Cheerios.
Right.
But it's fortified, meaning they added a bunch of extra crap to it. To the sugar bombs that is most natural sugar. Don't get me wrong, it's been years, but I would enjoy a peanut butter Captain Crunch myself, but for the most part, I don't eat any of that sugary stuff anyhow.
I do, and I need to stop because my body is like, I don't think I'm eating any real food. Like, I don't know if I've been eating any real food. Like, I've been eating
probably haven't
like fake food, and it was made with gross things. It's not even fake food made with like cool stuff. It's like
it's not made from natural. It's made from unnatural stuff.
Right. Like, it's like my friend and I, Michelle, once we stayed up really late and we wanted to make the like really gross. Her mom had leftover spaghetti like on the stove, and so we just started adding like cigarette ashes to it, and we put an egg in there. We put some cat food in it. We were like and then we dared each other to taste it.
Ew.
It's like eating that. That's what we're eating, but we're eating it all the time and thinking it's good. And it's like, wow, man, I looked pretty good after eating all that for a long time. I could look a lot like
Sure, your body's
I've
wasting
been
away.
eating
It's not getting the
poison.
nutrients it needs. Yeah.
It's not. I'm malnourished for sure. I have to be. That's, gosh, that's crazy. It's crazy to me. And we have so many people that have like diabetes and things like that. And it makes me just wonder if all of these things would not be the case if they weren't so totally messing with everything that they're messing with, you know?
It's like
Like,
everything's loaded down. Because you look on the box, it's like, oh, there's no sugar added, but it's got a ton of, corn syrup in it, which is practically the same thing.
right. And like corn
And
syrup,
worse for your body.
right. I just learned that too. That corn syrup is not as good. Like sugar is better for you.
Remember, we're all of a certain age. We may remember the day when Coca-Cola changed their formula to the new Coke, and everybody hated it because it tasted like shit. So they swapped back to the original formula because nobody liked the new Coke. What they didn't tell you was original Coke, before they made the change, was made with cane sugar. The new version that they came out with was all corn syrup. So it wasn't the original formula, but if you went from drinking the cane sugar version, like we've probably all seen, soda pop that comes from Mexico made out of corn sugar, or made out of cane sugar cane, and it tastes so much better than stuff that you would buy at the regular store, which is all made with corn syrup. But that's why that was a whole marketing ploy with Coca-Cola, is new Coke, everybody. And everybody hated it, so they swapped back to the original old formula. If they had done that without having like the bad Coke in the middle, you would tell a difference and you wouldn't like it when you would drink. When you would have a bottle one day of cane sugar Coke, and then the next day having the corn syrup Coke, you're like, this is not Coke. What is this? But because they flooded the market with the new Coke formula that nobody liked, and then they brought the old one back, there wasn't enough of the old stuff. I had the hiccup suddenly, talking about drinking Coke, which I haven't had in years. That was a trick. The company, because cane sugar is more expensive than corn syrup. Corn syrup is super cheap. It's a byproduct of everything else. Honestly, I think at some point in the future, they're probably going to come out and say corn in general is kind of a poison. You probably shouldn't be eating it.
Wow.
So I found a few things, dude. Listen to this. Do you know in toothpaste is a main ingredient is gypsum? And you know what gypsum is?
Yes.
It's a rock. And guess what they make out of gypsum? They make sheetrock.
Sheetrock walls.
And that's what and that's also in what? Toothpaste?
Toothpaste.
Yep. So people are brushing their teeth with rock? Also, rock powder?
What is the other thing that's in toothpaste? What is the other thing that's in toothpaste that's basically fluoride. Fluoride is basically something bad.
They use it as an engine. Before they started putting it in water, city water supplies, and putting it in toothpaste, because it does make your teeth a little brighter because it's an engine degreaser. That's what they used to use it for beforehand, is for cleaning mechanical parts, because it was very good at dissolving away all those little oils and greases and stuff like that when you needed to clean up a part.
Crazy, huh? So also fluoride calcifies your pituitary gland, your pineal gland.
Yeah, there's that too. That's your
third eye that you're messing with. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you ever see in the ingredients cellulose, that is wood pulp, and that is sawdust.
What? Really?
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Cellulose? I think I've seen that before, and it's
And
not
it can come from a number of different plants. It's not necessarily excuse me.
Bless
Sorry,
you.
I totally missed I was reaching for my little cough button thing, and I sneezed at the same time, and my hand jerked away, and it was awful. I blame the corn syrup. But
yeah, I blame it too. It was the sawdust.
But cellulose like that, it can come from any plant. It's the center part. It's the part that you can't digest. If you're eating broccoli or whatever, and oats and other things like that kind of pass right through you. There's no nutritional value that we could get as humans out of cellulose versus like a cow or something like that with they have two stomachs. They're digesting it twice, so they can break down grasses and things like that. So that's okay for them. Having cellulose in our food is it's a filler. You do need some roughage. It would be what do they call it? Fiber, really.
Fiber.
Yeah, fiber.
Yeah, there's citric acid in these noodles.
So,
and then it has something called spice. That's all it says, spice. Isn't that like? Is that like a drug?
From Dune, make your eyes turn blue.
Right.
Giant sandworms.
Right. It's like, what is spice? It's just a spice. Huh. Interesting.
Have you ever heard of brominated vegetable oil?
Gluminated?
Brominated. Like bro, man.
Oh, what is that?
Okay, so that's in soda. Why is my camera doing that? That's in soda, in all soda. And what it is a toxic flame retardant.
What? Are you serious? That's crazy.
What was it again? Brominated what?
Brominated vegetable oil.
Brominated.
What is that?
Yeah. It's pretty much getting to the point that if you don't recognize it as something that grows out of the ground or is walking the earth, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah, and then I did the cheese, my Kroger cheese, and it had something called natamycin, and natamycin is an antifungal. And I was like, they were putting antifungals in the cheese?
So it lasts longer. It would basically
they're using
it as a preservative so that
right. So that the mold,
really
the cheese is already mold.
Yeah,
already mold. It's crazy.
Well, actually, if you have like good fresh cheese, don't touch it with your fingers. Like if it's sliced, if you get like the sliced kind, don't touch it with your fingers. Use like a fork or something like that, or a knife, because the oils from your fingers will, when it touches the next piece of cheese that you'll have like tomorrow or whatever, if you were to let it sit, you would see where your fingerprints touched the cheese after like a week. You can see that's where the mold grows first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why is that? Do you know?
It's just a collection point, because it's, even if you don't touch it, it's still over time, it's going to get mold spots that grow on it, because like you said, that's kind of what cheese is. But by adding like just the oils from your skin getting on it, that just amplifies it, so that your cheese won't last as long, or at least it'll be more moldy if you touch it with your fingers. If you're just grabbing the whole block and chunking off a piece of cheese for yourself, you'll get the fingerprints in there that'll form. That's where the mold will form first.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of grossed out now to eat stuff, but I'm also super addicted to some of the food.
So who here loves Chick-fil-A? I love Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is delicious, right?
Yes, I love Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so McDonald's chicken nuggets and KFC mashed potatoes and Taco Bell cinnamon twists and Five Guy French fries. So guess what's in that?
What?
It's called dimethylpolysiloxane.
What's that?
Also known as PDMS, and it was approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 1998. And guess what it is? It's silicone, and it is basically silly putty. It's the main ingredient in silly putty, the toy.
What? Wow. That's crazy.
Because especially like for chicken nuggets, don't you find it curious that they're all the same, like 5 shapes?
Right.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. It's because it's mechanically separated chicken. Basically, they have a machine that has like a rake on it that just rakes the bones off and rips the meat off of the bones, kind of a thing. And it's just a mulch by the time you get done. So you got to have it some way to stick together. So for like chicken patties and chicken nuggets.
Oh, no. What? That's not okay, man.
And we don't even know what the nuggets are. It's just whatever chicken is left over.
Yeah.
Right?
That's, if you're eating like a chicken wing or something, there's always like that cartilage bit that you don't want to eat or whatever. Yeah, that stuff's in there too. It's just all mulched up. Pretty much everything but the bone itself is used in things like nuggets and patties and all that stuff.
The thing that's not fair is that we don't have any other alternative, really, because they made it to where it's so hard to like grow your own food and
it's
all that.
And buying like fresh produce or fresh meats or things like that
is hard
really
here.
expensive versus I can buy this 20 pack of corn dogs for less price than I can buy like a couple of fresh pieces of fruit or vegetables or something like that, and some meat that I would actually have to physically prepare and cut up myself. Where, hey, I'll just have the corn dog, which is full of so much processed nonsense that you don't even want to know.
And it's like people that have like a food allergy or somebody discovers that a problem they've been having is because of something that's in the food. It's like, what are they supposed to do? Like, they can't just not eat citric acid because every manufacturer puts it in everything. Like, or how do you find food without stuff like that when you live in the United States, especially now that Donald Trump is going to tariff everybody? It's not like you can get it from out of the country.
It really does depend on reading what's on those labels. Because I used to date a girl that extremely, like, violently allergic specifically to orange juice or orange peel or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
Lemons, she was fine. Grapefruit, she was fine. Limes were okay. If it was an orange, no way. She would get violently ill.
That's crazy. That would be scary to have a food allergy in this world. Like, I'd be afraid to eat anything. I wouldn't trust, like, peanut allergies are so scary. I wouldn't go. I'd be afraid to go out to eat. Because people get your order wrong all the time. People would be accidentally.
There was that famous case a couple of years ago in Disney World, I think. It was actually one of the restaurants off the Disney World property, but it was a Disney owned kind of thing. Where this lady said, "Hey, I'm allergic to whatever it was." And they served her this food saying, "Oh yeah, it's fine." And it was loaded with whatever it was, and she died. And,
oh, wow.
The guy was trying to sue Disney over, her, the servers serving her something she said she was allergic to, and they served it to her anyway. And they threw it out because he had signed a contract to have Disney Plus, which part of the fine print in that is saying that basically you won't sue us for anything.
Oh, no.
It was bananas. He ended up winning in the end, but their initial response back from Disney lawyers was like, no, you see, you signed up for Disney Plus and have been watching it, and part of the fine print says that you won't sue. Sorry about that and all, but
that is crazy, because if you go to their park and something happens and you have a Disney Plus member or subscription, then you can't sue them.
Technically,
What?
no one has ever died
Huh?
at a Disney park.
Huh?
And because they always shuffle the bodies of somebody that gets mangled up in one of the rides off the property, like, now declare them
shit,
dead
really?
now. So that way they can say no one's ever died in on a Disney,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah,
Those things
I won't renew my subscription just because of that. So take that, Disney. Take that.
You're
Gosh,
not missing
okay.
anything by getting rid of them. They're in bad shape. They're going to be in really bad shape here.
There's no good movies or anything lately. I don't know what happened, but
That's
people
the
just
thing, is the movies they put out stink, and their next lineup of movies coming out even just this year and are just the worst of the bunch. And plus, like for Disney World in Florida and Disneyland in California, somewhere nearby is Universal Studios, and Universal Studios is coming out with a whole brand new product kind of line thing of an attraction at their parks that's going to just decimate Disney. Nobody's going to go to Disney anymore. They're going to go, which all their crappy programming they put off. I'm still sore over them ruining Star Wars myself, but it's one of those things that they need to straighten up fast, or they're going to lose everything.
well, all movies
Right.
are bad lately. I haven't seen any good movies or any good anything. It's like nobody has a new idea, and I don't know why. There's like so many things people could do or write about, especially with all the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. It's like we're giving Hollywood all kinds of ideas, and they're not taking it.
There's just like little nuggets of stuff. Oddly enough, Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever it's called, they've actually had some pretty good shows on there lately. That Severance show is pretty amazing. The Silo is pretty amazing. What else? There's a few other shows out there that just little things dotted around on all these different networks around there. But like you said, 95% of it is trash that you don't care
If
about.
if the people in charge and in internet and all that, if they would just tell the truth, I think that we'd have all kinds of interesting movies that are so interesting. But because the truth is stranger than fiction. So
Right, we will. There will come a time when they have to tell all the stories about what's coming out, because there's so much stuff coming out. It's hard to keep track of. There's so much.
That's absolutely true.
I'm worried about something.
What?
So somebody who, I don't know who, I saw a clip of a video of someone saying that the only way that there would be a World War III is if one of the countries, because every country in the world has signed a treaty about Antarctica, right? And I heard something about it being that they've also, there's a treaty to not dig there for and we have a president who's like, dig, baby, dig. So I'm like, oh crap. What if he gets the idea to try to dig in Antarctica and violate that treaty that every country in the world is a part of? That could be bad.
Supposedly, the whole idea of hi Batman, is the whole idea behind Antarctica is they designated it like this very specific science only kind of zone where basically we're doing a lot. We're dumping a lot of contaminants into the air and into the water and all the soil and all that stuff. We need a neutral place on the planet that doesn't have any of that, so we can compare how badly we're polluting over here when we compare it to over here. Kind of an idea. Plus, it's so remote down there and so effing cold that to develop any kind of like infrastructure and stuff like that, because I've gotten into arguments with people before about I don't know how to fly over Antarctica. Yeah, because there's nothing there. there's no emergency landings or any place you could go to try and cross over Antarctica, because there's nothing there.
Well, there's enough there there's stuff there that you can see a lot. I mean, for all the stuff you can see on Google
there
Earth.
is stuff there. I'm not going to lie. There's certainly some curiosities down there for sure that most people don't know about, and they are certainly covering up. There's been a lot of political people that have shown up down there at very specific times, and it's like, what the F are they there? What do you really need to know about the ice core samples they pulled out of the ground? Do you really need to take a closer look at this half buried neutrino detector thing that they have, which is amazing technology, don't get me wrong, but and it's one of the only places you can do it because there's nothing else around it, so you can do this neutrino detector buried into the ice where it detects neutrinos coming in from deep space, kind of a thing, and where they can study that. And you can't do that anyway.
I think they're protecting something ancient.
There's a lot of stories, certainly that have come up post World War II that there's something else going on down there that they're not telling us about, I feel.
I know that one guy with the weird mustache, he was interested in Antarctica, I think.
Which
for
one?
some reason.
They set
the
up
guy from back in the war.
Yep.
Yeah, they say not to say that name for some reason.
German bad guys, you can say. German bad guy.
Yeah, German bad guy. Yeah. Yeah.
World War II German bad guys, you can say.
I know who that is.
Yeah, Operation High Jump, if you're curious, do a little research on that. There's plenty of videos out there on the internet about it. Very strange. Immediately, not even a full year past the end of World War II, and they're sending this giant convoy of Navy ships with there was like a seaplane carrier where they could launch seaplanes off of the ship, and they can go for doing all this stuff. And they were supposed to be down there doing this cold weather operation, military operation it was supposed to be like 6 to 8 months, I think. And after about 2, they came back. Oh, no, it's far too cold down there. Colder than we thought. Even though they had the premier expert, Admiral Byrd, who had been to the North Pole and to the South Pole many times, they could have told him, yeah, it gets freaking cold. They came trekking back, and he certainly had a few stories he told on his way back, giving a interview in Peru. How was that? The west side part of Chile, maybe. I don't remember. Anyway, the Mercuriator News, he gave an interview where he was talking about it's like, hey, now that World War II is over, we've got other things. There's other threats out there we don't understand. Craft that can go from pole to pole at a very fast rate. We need to be very concerned about that. That wasn't us. We didn't have that kind of technology. Who was he talking about that had this pole to pole quickly kind of vehicle? Yes. So there's a lot of other things too. There's a lot of stories, with not a lot of confirmation on a lot of it. That's usually how it goes, which makes for a good story.
I'm looking at
the and we can't expect to know everything too.
Right. No, right. But there was it looks like it passed. There was some legislation done back in the early 90s about minerals and developing minerals. So I don't think it's that there's nothing there. I think there's stuff there. They're just all agreeing to not. There. Yeah.
Well, the stuff that's there is like underneath 2 miles of ice. That's the problem.
Well, is it though? Because there's a lot of Antarctica that's not under ice. Because I mean, the pictures on Google Earth, there's quite a bit.
There is some stuff for sure, but again, it's just a matter of getting to it and you would have to build out like an infrastructure to get to all of these things, because certainly if they discovered oil down there, I'm sure we'd have a barrage of vehicles heading down there immediately just to do that. Because believe it, I'm certainly one of those saying, hey, this is certainly one of these.
I don't think that they're even going to try to discover oil. They're not supposed to, because I think there's something else there that they're
there's a lot of things that you can't even do. There's a lot of like the conspiracy crowd is like, well, there's designated no-fly zones. Yeah, because they're measuring the atmosphere. Because you can't, if you fly a plane over it, then you're dumping your pollutants out of the back of the plane, and that's going to ruin their experiment. That's why you can't fly there. It's not. There's some things that are kind of true, but there's a very specific reason for it. It's not, because they're hiding, hellmouth down there or something like that.
How do you know they're not? How do you know that though?
That's actually one of the stories from IHAP is because one of the extreme stories about Operation High Jump, which is that military thing I was talking about earlier, is they were going down there to go after the last of the German bad guys that had escaped to there post World War II. Oh. And supposedly when they showed up, there were flying saucers down there with German bad guy symbology on the outside of the craft that sunk a couple of their ships. They did lose a couple of ships and a couple of aircraft, from the official record, but which they explained away as simple mishaps and things just going wrong, and it was cold. Did they mention it was cold? That kind of stuff.
One of the pictures that I have, and I can't show it because I looked, and it would be a copyright issue if I showed the Google Earth Street View photo, but everybody can go on to Google Earth, and hopefully they don't take it down because I say this, whatever, but go on to Google Earth, go to Antarctica, click on Street View. It will highlight blue areas. There's a couple of blue areas on one side of Antarctica that light up. As you zoom in, the blue areas will expand or whatever, and you can just go along and click on them. And I highly encourage people to do this super a lot, because there's some weird stuff in Antarctica, including a wall that looks like it has these, like it's been cut. The rock's been cut. These two lines have been cut all the way down the wall, and it looks like it's part of a dam, because I've seen that same configuration in other areas that were dams. So I don't know. It looks like that. Like there's so many things there that look weird, that don't make sense, that look rocks that look like bones. Like just weird stuff. And there's a lot of ice melting for sure, like a whole bunch. And like as you zoom in or whatever, the ice will disappear. And there's a giant, it looks like there's a dragon like underneath the ice with his eyes closed, like he's asleep waiting to wake up or something. But I don't know.
There's a lot of like mountains and stuff that people are shaping out to be looking like dragons.
Yeah, there's also that. There's like
pyramids and stuff.
Yeah, I found mountains that look just like elephants, or yes, there's also that. So it's really weird to me. I don't Antarctica, I don't believe that it's always been ice. So
it wasn't,
because a lot of
many millions of years ago they found evidence.
No, I think there was people like lot newer than millions of years. I don't believe in millions.
If you follow up Admiral Byrd's original story of investigating around there, basically flying saucers came out and escorted his plane to a very tropical area that were, there was like mammoths and stuff like that grazing on the grass, all of these things that he saw going in which he got to an audience with the master, who was the mastermind in charge kind of guy, and basically very similar to a lot of the stories of alien abduction stuff where hey, you guys have nuclear weapons. Don't use those nukes. Nukes are very bad. Don't do the nuke thing.
I've heard of that journal or whatever. I haven't read it. I'll have to read it before I say whether I believe he actually wrote that or not. But
and that's the thing. There's questions about is this really his diary? Is this really his words? Where was he when this happened? There's a lot of things to it, and unfortunately, it's one of those time frames where versus today, you could predict where anybody is at any time, anywhere over the last like 20 plus years. It's like, oh, that person was actually living here in this part of the country, not here, things like that.
right.
This it's a lot of tall tales and believe it if you like kind of a thing. There's not a lot of evidence that supports it.
Right. Well, I don't know. I don't trust any mainstream idea that's pushed because it all got holes in it. So I automatically have a prejudice against anything that's pushed, and I guess probably not a good way to be, but I can't help it because
you can't blame me. You can't blame you because like, look at all the shit.
Well, in my life experience, that's what's taught me to be that way. My life experience has taught me not to trust anything because it hasn't been accurate so far.
Yeah, your list of beliefs versus your list of disappointments are certainly not balanced. So it's
right. Well, and it's to the point where I don't have a belief. Like there's things that I think I might understand, and there's things that I think are whatever, but I won't just believe something ever. Like, that's never going to happen for me. I'm just not like that. I don't know why, but
what do you mean you don't just believe something? Like, what do you mean by that?
I can't just believe something. I have to have there has to be, for me, it has to make sense. Like when I say that, I mean, I can't just hear an explanation for something and it not make sense and just be okay with it and believe it just to believe it. Like, it has to make sense. It has to make sense. Like, I just can't. So if it doesn't make sense, then I'll consider it and I'll keep like whatever, but I'm not gonna like believe something until it makes sense to me, because I don't know, I just can't do that. I don't know why. I'm weird, I guess.
No, a lot of people are like that. But there's also people who don't need to see things to believe them and don't need
it has nothing to do with seeing things though, necessarily.
I know, but I also said don't need them to make sense to believe them too.
The last several years, a lot of people have learned to distrust the mainline narrative that's being fed to them because it's usually not true. It's usually how that pans out. So then that throws everything out, along with the baby and the bathwater, where it's like, well, what the hell is real? What do I believe? Who out there in the universe can I believe in this? Who's working for the man? Who's making up crazy stories so you can go buy their corn syrup or whatever it is? That I get it. We're living in difficult, turbulent times as far as free thought and just idealism and just introspective thought for individuals, where it's just you don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, so do you feel like, Enzo, like if a person were to come out with an invention that would change the world, and like in a good way, that it would like allow everybody to have something, or it would make like, I don't know, energy free or something like that, right? That was huge. Do you feel like in this world with our government and all that somebody would be able to put that idea out there and it would like be okay to take off, even if it would put out put other people out of business that are, say, in like the gasoline industry? Or so do you think that that person would stay alive and long enough to get their invention out and be successful?
That's my actual dream thing, is to like log on to the internet one day and find, hey, here's the deal. Here's about $120. You can go to Lowe's and buy these things, and you assemble it this way, and you can have free power for your house forever. You know, whatever it is.
It could have happened by already, but it will never happen.
I think it will
literally never happen. It can't. Well, for one, not in this country, because in this country there's a law against it. If you patent, they can take your patent and never release it, and they get to keep it for military.
And a lot of that, yeah, unfortunately, it all boils down to money, like we were talking about earlier with the
and power.
The food is you know, yeah, that as well. Money is power for a lot of people, but we're so reliant on fossil fuels. Yes, I know they're not really from fossils, but you know what I'm talking about when I say it. Is that if somebody did come up with this miraculous invention that you could go spend a couple $100 at Lowe's and build your own power plant in your basement to power your whole house, and you could actually, you know, adjust your thermostat to a normal level because you don't have to worry about paying for it, that kind of thing. There are forces out there that don't want that to happen, even though I think we're probably pretty close, if not have already achieved that level of stuff, because basically the dollar that the dollar that you have in your wallet or purse right now is kind of dependent on oil, because it certainly isn't on gold in Fort Knox that they're not letting people go in to go see.
Oh yeah, that gold that's probably not even really there.
Right. Bunch of crates that say gold on it when you open it up.
How is it bad? Why is our money dependent on oil? Because we don't get our oil from here.
That's what it's backed by, is because we produce a lot of oil here in the United States, and that's what gives us our kind of financial oomph, where we, you know, the dollar is worth something. Because right now the dollar isn't technically dependent on anything, where it used to be, it was like dependent on gold, where if you had $1, this is worth $1's worth of gold. It was basically like an IOU for $1's worth of gold. But we went off of that back in like the 60s, I think, or 50s, or whatever the hell it was. So now it's just a piece of paper that fluctuates like crazy depending on how much, you know, the government spends and how many more bills they print out, kind of thing. Which that's what causes inflation and everything else, is because they just print more dollars. And if you've got a flood of dollars out there, your individual dollar you have in your wallet isn't worth as much now, because there's 20 billion more of them over there, that kind of thing. So, but a lot of that is backed by how much oil this country produces. That's why Saudi Arabia is, anytime something goes bananas, apeshit crazy in you know, the Middle East, if they're going to figure it out, Saudi Arabia needs to get involved, because they have the most oil wells. They're producing the most money, which basically oil is money nowadays. And I despise it. We should have been off of that a long time ago. We still need oil. They still need to have the oil wells pumped on. Every piece of plastic, look around you right now, every piece of plastic is based on a petroleum product. We need petroleum product. We don't need it in bulk to drive our little cars around all over the place. I feel like we should have been off of that a long time ago with something new, something different.
So who do we sell our oil to?
All the rest of the world. It depends on it.
I thought everybody got their oil from the Middle East, though. So
that's where the bulk of it comes out, is because we still produce a lot ourselves. It's mostly that we have the potential to create so much more, and that, again, that's a supply and demand thing. If we opened up every drilling site, every oil well, everything, and just started cranking out oil today, the price of a 50-gallon drum of oil would drop through the floor because you're flooding the market with it. It's supply demand. If you have more supply and not enough demand, the price is going to go down into the dirt because it's just everywhere.
It'd be cool. A cool experiment would be to like take some people, take some money, invest your money in some people, and then see what they can do.
People.
That would be cool.
I'm big on people.
Companies need to invest their money into people.
Yep, that's what we need to get back to. People.
If they started nurturing people as kids and treated children like they were each people, like they were people, they would, I don't know, life would be much different. But all the mean, evil people, they survived. So, well, they survived. that came out wrong. Yeah, well, I feel like history is written by, I think that the wrong people, too many people survived or something that were bad, and they just took everything over and haven't let anybody. Yeah.
I think you might be right, Jara. You might be. There's a possibility you could be right about that.
Yeah.
I believe it. It could be anything could happen. We don't know. Nobody knows, dude. Nobody was alive. There isn't really anybody.
What if they had the capability to grow people, like to make, like, because you know how they had the incubators in the World Fairs or whatever? Okay, so what if they could make babies, right? And what if they've been making babies this whole time underground? People. What if they've literally been making another society that lives under the ground that we don't even know? Like none of them have been up here. Maybe they don't even know. What if they don't even know that we're up here, right? What if they've been told that there was a war and they're all stuck down under the ground and they're like raising them up? And what if they don't even know that we're up here and then something happens?
The underworld is already full because it's got, where is it? That's where the lizard people are. Those are the ones that.
Right, but there could be people that live under us that have never seen a ground, or that don't. What if they don't even know there is an above ground?
Yeah. Right,
that would be weird.
Imagine that from their perspective. There's always been a ceiling above them.
Right.
To go up and just see the sky, and then when it turns into night, it's just stars that are light years away. How mind-boggling that would be.
It would be, because there's a movie my husband watched. I can't remember the name of it, but there was like a city and it was underground, and there was like a conspiracy, and then at the end somehow they crawled out of the hole and they were outside, and it was like.
Was it Silo? That was one of the shows I mentioned earlier.
It was a movie. It was years ago.
That's kind of what Silo is about. Basically, it was like a giant, nuclear winter kind of a thing. It's where these people have been underground in this, what would be like a nuclear silo, where it's all round and there's hundreds of different levels. And, of course, there's like a caste system where the workers that live in the lower levels aren't as important as the people at the top that make all the decisions, that kind of crap, and all that. But,
and they're not allowed to go outside.
They aren't. There's actually one of the big things in the Silo TV show is they have a camera that is live outside that everyone can see. And one of the greatest punishments for someone that like commits a murder or, a capital punishment is they're forced to go outside to clean the camera lens. That's their punishment. And because basically after they do it, they're going to die. They're just going to fall over dead. You'll see their body on the camera, kind of a thing. And that's like their big form of capital punishment of, don't do as I tell you.
Have you watched the whole thing? Have you finished it yet?
Well, I've watched what they've shown. It's based on a series of books, and I guess they're
it's not finished yet? There's going to be more? There's going to be more?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. There's a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's
because I saw the final one of that one. I'm not the final one, but the final one in the season of that. and that's interesting.
So,
Yeah,
why do they die when they clean the ones? Is it toxic outside
because
or something?
it's
Well, they
ultra
want that
toxic
one.
outside. They have like this protective suit, but it can only protect them for so long because
Oh,
the atmosphere is so toxic it like starts eating through their suit and that kind of stuff. So
that's
and
crazy.
that's actually one of the things is there's this one, the main character that you follow throughout the series works in engineering, which is like on the bottom level. But she becomes a sheriff where she's supposed to dole out the law on these different levels and stuff like that. And basically she finds out that there's more to their history than what they're told. It's actually illegal at past like 100-year point. If somebody finds like, because like one of the big mystery objects that people like freak out over is a Pez dispenser, but they don't know what
Oh.
the hell it is. They don't know what it was for. They don't know that there's candy into it. But it basically, because it's something before their history, because
Uh,
there was a violent uprising where a lot of people died, try to basically, because there's a lot of people that believe that they can go outside, that it's not
oh,
the picture that's on the screen in the one room in the big cafeteria that they have this live screen of outside, which just shows everything's dead and just lifeless and just ash and doom and destruction kind of a stuff. There's people that believe that that's not what it's like, that they can go outside. They're not stuck inside with this basically round the clock martial law and crazy people running the whole program kind of a thing. And as it turns out, there are other silos out there, but
oh, right.
but that comes later into the second season when you see it. But it's a pretty interesting show, the way that it's all laid out. Admittedly, some people, biggest complaint I've heard about it is it's
Is it what?
I don't a slow. I don't think
Oh,
it is. It's just it just takes its time telling the story for sure. They could take shortcuts and all that stuff, but the drama uh building up to certain things, it's well worth the wait. A
hmm.
story, a well-told story is worth waiting for, I feel. So, and that's what Silo is this storyline, because there's a lot of different characters and there's a lot of intricacy to it. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
To
it's
kinda keep
it was
track
pretty
of.
good. I didn't sit down and watch it. I kind of see, because I'm kind of blind and I don't see well, so I can watch a movie with my ears, or I can watch stuff with my ears. So I was doing things the whole time it was on, but I mean I followed along with it, and it was pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty good
Yeah,
show.
there's a whole lot of movie ideas that I don't know why people aren't coming up with.
I
Especially
watched a
because
cool series this weekend.
you watched what?
A cool series. It was called Yellow Jackets, and it
I
had
saw that.
Christina Ricci. Oh, you saw it? It was crazy,
No,
huh?
I haven't seen it, but I saw it
I've
advertised.
heard
I
of that.
haven't seen the show
I
though.
watched it.
About they're like a soccer team or something that
Yeah,
gets
and a
stranded.
plane crash. Yeah,
Yeah, is it good?
yeah. I watched it. It was good. I watched the whole thing. I think there's going to be another season.
So
You watched
is
all
it
the
kind of like
whole.
Lost, where there's like a flashback time period storyline that you're following, and then there's a flash forward time story kind of a thing?
Yes. So, okay, exactly. So it's kind of like Lost and Lord of the Flies if they had a baby.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna watch that. I just
Have
hadn't
you seen that
started
show
watching
From?
it. Mm-mm.
I
Uh-uh,
think
not
it's on
yet.
MGM Plus, I think.
Oh, okay. What is
Oh.
this?
What it is the first episode, you've got like the family, the mom and the dad and the older daughter and the younger son driving in
Oh.
the RV across the country, la la la. Hey, let's get off at this exit. We need gas. And they kind of get lost. What's going on? This isn't on the map. And then they come across this giant tree that's across the road, so they can't continue down this road. So they have to try and kind of like, and they're out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no signal on their phone and all this other stuff. So they're kind of trying to backwards find their way around just using the roads that are out there. And they end up coming across this little town where there's like a diner and a few houses and all that stuff. And like, okay, this isn't where we need to stop. We'll just keep going. And within like a minute or two of driving different directions and all this stuff in these back roads, they come across the same place, the same little diner, and the people standing outside kind of looking at them weird now. And they're like, what? Did we go in a giant circle? Okay, we're just going to go straight. We're not going to make any turns. And within a few minutes, there's the same little diner with all the people outside. They're like getting a little closer to the road now. And eventually the people in the diner like throw boards with nails and stuff out there to flatten their tires as they come by. They're like, normally we don't do this. We let you go around 4 or 5 more times until you stop, but the sun's going down. You need to come inside because that's when the monsters come out. Like, what?
Oh shit!
It's this weird little closed off universe that you can't get out of. And at nighttime, these super creepy, like they look like normal people, but they're like got like weird costumes on. Like one's like a 50s like Roy Rogers type cowboy, and then there's like a 50s nurse outfit and like a milkman, all that stuff. And then they get up close and they turn into these like horrible monsters and like just shred people to ribbons. Stuff like that.
Weird.
Oh shoot!
There's a lot of super weird stuff, but it's made by the same people that were writers on the original Lost episodes. So and even one of the main characters is from Lost.
Oh, which one?
Oh, is it the fat guy with the curly hair?
He was the kid's dad. What was his name? Walt.
Oh, him.
Walt. Walt's
he's
dad,
actually like the dad character. Walt's dad. He's like the main character in this show called From, and it's this weird little closed off universe that you're learning along with the people as they're trying to figure out what the fuck is this place. We can't get out of it. If I drive that way, I'm going to come back this way. There's no way out of this place.
Oh, so the other people that are there that put through the nails, they are also trapped there?
They've been stuck there too for years.
Oh,
and
wow.
every night they have to hide from the monsters, kind of a thing. It's super weird, they spare no expense on their grotesque imagery. The very opening scene of the show shows a little girl just getting slashed to ribbon.
What?
It's a monster. They do not pull back.
With a little girl, huh?
Yeah, because basically these monsters, they can like come up to the windows of the house that you're in, but they can't come into the house. But if you open the window or open the door, then they can come in and get you. It's kind of like the vampire rules kind of a thing.
Right.
And
How weird.
The very opening scene of the series is a little girl where it's an old lady looking in the window, tapping on the window. You could probably hear my voice better if you open the window. That kind of stuff.
Oh no!
This little trickster thing. It's super creepy. The entire show is creepy and weird, and it's great. I absolutely love it.
Wow, weird.
I like those like crazy movies like Twilight Zone type of deals. Kind of suspenseful and mysterious.
I don't know. I feel like that sounded like a dream I've had.
There are those little nugget type TV shows and streaming services that are just obscure that nobody even knows about because they're so small, but they're really popular. There's underground.
I haven't been watching TV lately. I guess it's weird. So I haven't. Actually, I watched that on Netflix. I watched that With Love from Megan or some whatever, the Princess Megan. So I don't know why I watched that, but I was just curious. I wanted to see if she looked like she ate babies, but she does not. She does not seem like she's a baby eater. She seems like a cool person. So She actually reminds me of our friend Shelly, because she's like super. I don't know, like she's like really I don't know that she seems like a very talented, intelligent woman or whatever, and she does not seem like she eats babies, which is probably why I got kicked out of the royal family. So
Right. She didn't want to play the game. Is
Right.
really what it boils down to. So they got the boot.
Right. Yeah. She even, I don't know, she seems like super down to earth. So I was like, I like her. She's cool. She's cool. Hopefully she doesn't ever turn into the baby eating. But
That South Park episode with them in it is just a riot, though.
I don't think I've seen it.
Basically, it's her and Prince. What's the prince's
Harry.
name? Harry.
Yeah.
Where they're like demanding respect our privacy, respect our privacy, as they're driving down the road in their private jet, like it's a car. You just you're looking at us like we're weird, you're strange, you respect our privacy.
That's funny. Huh. Yeah, they were making. She had her friend over, who's that actress Mindy from that one show. She's that Indian.
Oh yeah.
I think she played a doctor or something on a show. But she had her over, and they were doing eyes for like a children's party, and they made these crackers with like ladybugs on them, and they looked so cool, and they looked really good also. Like, that's a good idea. They used like cut cherry tomatoes in half. It was really cute. And then she made like a rainbow fruit platter. So she made the fruit like into a rainbow. I was like, she's like super creative.
I saw this these little penguins. They were 2 olives, but there was cream cheese in the olive, and the olive was cut kind of like that, so it looked like it's in a little tuxedo. And then a little tiny piece of carrot for the nose. And then what was the eyes? I don't know, but it was so cute. It was so cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna make a rainbow fruit platter. Fruit platter this summer. And then I'll put cream cheese dip for the clouds. What? I love the cream cheese dip. I eat them every day.
Can you make anything good, Enzo? What's your specialty? Can you make something good?
I am good at grilling things,
Ooh,
and
yeah, I bet you are.
not much else. I can cook meat over a fire is my thing.
Well, I'm not good at that, so that's a skill I need to learn still.
These are all cream cheese and olive penguin.
Oh, that's them. That's them. Oh, they've got a little
so
hat.
Oh, how cute is that? I got to do that for my daughter because she loves olives.
They're cute.
How cute. That is so cute. They put the little nose in the hole. How cute.
Oh, yeah, that's how they did it. And then what's the eyes? I don't see what the eyes are.
I'm not seeing eyes.
They don't have eyes. Maybe they didn't have eyes.
I'm going to make some of those. That is too cute. What a good idea. Somebody's so creative.
They're actually fairly big. That's pretty good size.
Yeah.
That's a big olive.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you gotta probably cut it. Yeah, cut them long ways. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired. I woke up early this morning. My coffin.
Okay. That's hilarious, though. That is great.
That is so cool. I'm getting some of those. I wonder what else you can make. What else can I stick cream cheese in that'll look like a little something?
Cheese and olives and yeah, you can see a person's hand there. Those are pretty sizable. That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, that's cool. You could do it in a giant blueberry.
I don't know if I've ever asked you guys this, but I was wondering. I want to know if you could live in any era of time. Which one would it be? Or is there an era of time that you're super interested in?
Yes.
I had so much fun in the 90s. It would be fun to kind of go back and do that.
It was so carefree.
I would like to hang out with Jesus.
Jesus. Me
I'd go
too.
back to the Jesus times.
Well, I would go to Woodstock for sure, though.
Those times would suck though. There's no indoor
Why?
plumbing. There's no
At
internet.
Jesus times? Jesus times?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I
Jesus
don't
time
think that's
Woodstock.
true. I
Yeah,
think
'cause,
that
like,
maybe it might not be, not necessarily might not be true. There might have been plumbing in places,
Well,
or maybe
if you
not.
lived in Rome, sure,
yeah, but
they
what all
may.
Yeah.
could you do for fun? Like, what? Go get a pail of water, or like?
Dude,
Oh,
I do that for fun every day. I go outside and I play with water in the dirt. So yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I'd have all kinds of fun in Jesus time. Man, that'd be my thing. That'd be my jam.
Your jammy
Jesus and
jams.
I would be making
stub your
clay.
toe and it gets infected and you die like within
Yeah,
a
you
couple
die.
weeks.
No,
That's it, you
Jesus.
die.
How would I die when Jesus is there?
Oh yeah, you got to be
Jesus,
friends with
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah, you
though.
Jesus
gotta
is
bring it
my
back.
friend. Jesus is my friend.
It's like every 12 hours, it's like, all right, just see like just the
Right.
glow for the gee, just try and be careful. Come on.
We'd be making clay. Oh, oh.
What would be? Oh, so you said Jesus times, and you said the 90s. Okay, so I said
That was
Woodstock, but I
certainly a
also
fun time for me, but
I would
I
like
would
to go.
definitely want to see how those pyramids were being made.
Oh hell yeah,
That's
Egypt.
Yeah.
Egypt, dude. They probably had cool drugs back there in Egypt.
well, we're just at the beginning of discovering beer and that was the honey beer. What was it called? Uh,
Oh, um,
I forget what it's called.
no, I know what you're saying. It's
But
shit.
they
Why
had
can't we think of
mead. They had a lot of
Mead.
mead back in those days, so you could certainly have that.
Honey beer. Like you add honey to the beer or you
no,
make
it's
beer with honey?
make beer out like honey.
Yeah.
You make beer with honey?
Yes.
I'm not sure how it goes. Yeah.
Like you
That's
ferment
what
the
mead
honey?
is. It's basically like a honey beer where you're instead of using basically instead of your ingredients being so like hops and barley and wheat and a bunch of other stuff that you're mulching all together and letting it ferment and all that stuff.
You
Honey
just
is
use honey.
as a main
Oh, I
ingredient.
should tell my
So
dad and my brother to make some of that because they make
Yeah. Tell them I'll drink
alcohol.
some.
mead. It's an ancient stuff and it's
Oh
actually
yeah, I know.
it's good stuff.
I've heard it gets you a little. It gets people
There's
a
something
little
magical
grumpy.
about honey all the way around.
Oh, it is magical, dude. It's
Yeah.
antibacterial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever taken a bath in honey?
No,
Just
have you?
kidding. Just kidding.
No, but
That'd be sticky, huh?
every year during we have our state fair every fall. There's always like one dude. I go to like where the fair is, and I always track this one dude down that he has his own bees and all that stuff. He makes his own honey, the whole spiel. I always buy his honey. It's so great. And
Can you
they're
freeze honey?
really what's that?
Can you
Freeze?
freeze? Does honey freeze?
I wonder.
I don't know that you would need to because
Yeah, it
I
never
know,
goes
but
bad.
well, I know you don't
there's
need to, but does it is all I'm wondering. Like just
I guess
because
you
I'm wondering
could.
if I could make myself a honey popsicle.
Make a little bit of honey candy, yeah. But
Yeah, because it's
there's
good, but you can't make it hard.
there's ancient crypts, from 3 to 4, 5, 6,000 years ago, and that they're uncovering even today in Egypt, where they'll have a pot of honey in there, and it's still honey. It's not like there's mold growing on it. It's not like there's anything wrong with it. You could certainly just stick a spoon in there and stir that into your tea for a delicious treat. It's the same stuff. It doesn't.
I wonder if it'd make you
Nothing
feel
goes
older
wrong.
if you drink. Like if you would feel older drinking something that's that old.
Well, you would certainly not be allergic to anything. That's the big thing about a lot of people don't understand about honey is you want the locally made stuff because it has all the local pollens and stuff like that in it, so you don't go through all like the hay fevers and all the springtime allergies and stuff like that as
Oh
bad.
yeah. Oh
because
yeah.
you're already infusing it into, your body through the honey. So your body's kind of getting used to it. So you don't have the bad reactions when, the trees start, springing forth, just
That makes
flooding the
so
atmosphere.
much sense. That wow, see, like how that's crazy.
Yeah,
Nature
if you're
just
going to get
made
honey, you
something
want the
that works
locally made
perfectly.
stuff, not whatever you buy at the store that was made God knows where and out of God knows what.
Right. It's
You want
probably
the
got citric acid and red dye in it.
Oh my
So
God. I
they
know,
probably
I know if my dream is to have like a place out in the middle of nowhere where I could like spend all night like shooting the stars and taking deep space photography and stuff like that, where there's no city lights anywhere around. If I had a place like that, it would probably be like farmland all around me. Take I would certainly try my hand at raising bees and making my own honey and stuff like that, because
oh, me
it
too.
seems like that would be kind of interesting and fun.
I'd have my own chickens. I'd hatch chickens again because I liked that. That was fun. My mom and I and the kids used to hatch Serama chickens, and we had regular chickens, and we used to have, we had eggs every day. We didn't have to buy eggs, so that was awesome. And it's just fun too.
It was
I
just
like,
today somewhere on Facebook. You get like those random things that pop up on your feed in Facebook. There was one today where basically prior to the 1950s, the normal thing to do with your eggs was put them in like a big jar or a container, and it was some kind of salt. I want to say salt water. It wasn't salt water. It was something else that you added to the water that was in, and they would stay fresh basically forever.
yeah, my son just made, he puts eggs in soy sauce, and it like pickles them and or something. They like it. I couldn't do that, but I don't like pickled eggs or
Ew.
gotta eat them when I cook them. I mean, I'll eat a deviled egg, but not like
Oh
as
yeah, I like
far as
deviled eggs.
also.
I wish I had one right now.
Primarily, I like chickens because I like to give them people names.
Oh, I want chickens. I think we should all get chickens, and we don't have to pay for
We
eggs.
had we had like a Steve and a Gary, and we had over 100 chickens at one time. Actually, a lot.
Like Tim
I love
Pool and
naming
have
my
like
pets people names.
We have.
guy Tim. I don't know if you've seen Tim. You probably know who Tim Pool is, but he has
I
his own
don't.
little. He's a guy on the internet, or he does like a nightly, basically politics type show. But he lives
Oh,
like on his compound out in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia, and they have a chicken coop with all kinds. And he's named all the chickens, but he has like a live cam in there, and he has it set up it's live on YouTube right now, where it's set up to where it'll accept super chats and stuff like that. If somebody donates, I want to say it's $50 or $100, he has like disco lights that come on so that all the, you know, chickens can
oh,
dance,
how funny!
whatever. It's just something silly, but he's
How
got the
funny!
whole coop all wired up so that but there's people out there that sit there and watch these
Oh
chickens.
heck yeah! They probably make more money than I do. Those chickens, I
Yeah.
bet. Huh? That's crazy. Well, guys, I'm gonna sign off here because I'm just yawning and my nose is getting all stuffy
Yeah,
from
for
yawning.
for us
Well,
that
that
have
was,
to change their time zones and all that stuff this past weekend.
oh,
It's
that's
midnight
why
where
you
I'm at.
lost track of time.
Yeah,
Ah,
Yeah. So wait,
I
what time
see.
is it where you're at now?
it is just after midnight where I am.
Oh, okay.
No way.
Oh, and before you were only an hour ahead of us.
Yep, because it used to be like when you would do the show, before the time change, basically during the winter. For me, it's an early time where it's like, hey, it's like 9:30 or whatever it is. When you would go live. Now it's 10:30.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I didn't
That's
think of
okay.
that. I didn't know you were going that far ahead.
Yeah,
We should
I
start. We
stay
should do
up
the show
until
at
like
7.
I stay up until like 1 or 2 in the morning anyways, on a normal night.
I know. I'm so bad too
Um,
with that. I'm just the worst.
Yeah, I go to bed usually by midnight.
A healthy sleep schedule can really change your life, you guys. I should really be better about that.
I
We all
agree. You need
should.
your rest.
Right.
Also, though, listen to your body. If your body isn't wanting to sleep, then get up. Well, then get up.
I wonder why our bodies don't want to go to bed.
My body tells me to sleep for 3 hours, wake up, stay awake for about 12 hours, then take like another 3-hour nap. And then I'm awake. It's like, especially during like COVID when everybody was all locked up where you couldn't actually go out and like talk to people.
Yeah.
I got on that kind of a cycle. I just slipped into it, and that was norm. That was my normal. I would sleep for 3 or 4 hours, be awake for about 12 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours, then sleep for another 3 or 4 hours. And I just got on this super weird cycle where I was just taking like 2 half sleeps kind of a thing during the days, a 24
I think
hour
there's
period.
nothing wrong with that, probably.
Probably not. That's not bad.
Especially if that's what your body is wanting to do, or you don't feel like it's making you more tired. Or
I despise sleeping anyways. I absolutely hate it.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like sleeping either because it's like there's so many things I want to do.
I have to be laying in this position. I have to be laying flat, doing this, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Just laying there for like, honestly, I haven't slept 8 hours in a row since the late 80s.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's been a long time for me too.
Because I used to be, well, my Desert Storm experience, not to make this about, I hate making it about me, but this is just what it is prior to that, if I didn't get exactly 8 hours in a row of sleep, I was not worth a crap all day long. That kind of a thing. And I got to go to bed early tonight because I only got 7.43 hours of sleep, that kind of stuff. But because of the schedule I was on during Desert Storm, I was only sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night at all, period, in a row. And I would be awake the rest of the 20 hours of the day, kind of a thing. And I got used to that cycle where I was only sleeping 3 or 4 hours. Now I'm super lazy and I'm sleeping 5 to 6 hours, so many years later. But that's it. I just can't stand laying in a bed for that long. It's like, I got to get up and do something. This is just stupid laying here all this time.
My body just wakes me up every 2 hours. It's like clockwork. And it's been like that for a long time. Every 2 hours. All right, guys. Well, it was interesting to learn all the reason that they are adding to our food. Maybe we can all, I don't know, protest somehow. I don't know how. Stop eating, everybody. That'll teach them.
What are we going to do? I think McDonald's is honestly, out. I think we got to stop eating at McDonald's for sure.
This could be the year for everybody. We're coming up on spring for the most of the country here in the North America, at least. Now may be the time to start that bucket vegetable garden in your back porch, kind of a thing, where you just get the 5-gallon buckets from Lowe's and throw some dirt in there, and you throw some tomatoes in there and some onions and some peppers, and you're making your own salsa here in about 6-7 months. So you can do whatever you like.
Yeah, I agree.
That is
I've
a great
got mine
idea.
started. I've got mine started. My cabbage is doing good. My green onions, my sweet peppers, my corn.
I love cabbage.
I know. It's really big, pretty plant too. I'll have to go take pictures of it and share it next time.
Yeah, you'll have to.
That's cool. I have some friends that have like no interest in growing stuff. It's like, it's not that hard to just throw some buckets in your back porch, kind of a thing. And it's fairly minimal what you have to do to grow tomatoes and some peppers and some onions and stuff like that. You can make your own salsa and you can make it as hot or spicy or whatever. They're like, whoa, my God, really? It's like,
yeah, you can even marry, or whatever they call it, put together your tomato plant and your potato plant, and you could make a tomato potato plant.
That's true. You can splice them together.
Yep, and it grows the both fruits on the same plant, and then you can make French fries and ketchup out of the same plant.
Right.
Right.
Self-touching French fries. I love it.
Right. So, yep, it's possible. And with ChatGPT, you just got to ask it, how do I do this? And it literally will lay out stuff for you. So,
Yeah.
I told Gemini to write me a work song about sorting and hanging clothes, and it did write me a full-on song with chorus and everything. So,
have you used Grok at all from Twitter?
I haven't. What is that? Is that the robot that's like
their
sexual?
AI. Yeah, that's their AI. Where you can go in and do whatever you want with it.
I don't have Twitter. I'm afraid of Twitter. I think I'm too. Twitter is too hardcore for me. I'm not hardcore enough yet for Twitter. So I've heard terrible things, and that you see terrible things on there. I'm not ready for all that. I just like this. I'll stick with my rocks.
I've heard a lot of people, not just a wide range of people that have said Grok, which is the AI that's built into Twitter. You just click on the thing that says Grok when you're on Twitter, and you can use it just like any of the other AIs. Basically, they're using it like how Google is. Instead of typing stuff into Google, they just go straight to Grok and use it like that.
Huh. That's interesting.
Hey, how do I do this?
Yeah, I feel like ChatGPT. I don't know. Gemini is weird. Gemini likes to lie sometimes, or like I feel like Gemini is weird too, because I feel like when you change the voice, I feel like it really changes the personality of the AI, and I don't know why that should happen, but because they do seem so different, the voices. So I don't know. There's like people trapped in there, just like with food, and they putting a little bit of poison in our food. They're putting a little bit of real people in our AI and in our food, actually, probably. So. Yeah. I don't know. I'll just leave you with that.
Artificial, that intelligence, maybe. Yeah.
Right. Well, and they put in the food, they put artificial flavors or natural flavors, and they can consider anything that is like people would be a natural flavor, because we're people are made
anything you can mine from the planet is a natural flavor.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, there it is, everybody. We're all eating people.
I like to have you really need to like teach yourself how to read the little ingredients tab on everything you buy at the store, because it used to be, I like to have like after a night of streaming, I enjoyed some microwave burritos afterwards. Kind of a thing to absorb some of the booze that I've been drinking the entire stream. But there's a couple of like brands that I used to, I was like, wow, these taste okay. But the next day I just felt like I was just felt like my body's just full of salt. It was just like I could feel like salt crystals cracking if I moved around, kind of thing. It was just so much crap in it. But I started looking at this thing. It's like, beef and bean burrito. And I'm looking at it, and there's no beef actually in this beef and bean burrito. It's all textured vegetable protein.
Oh, geez.
That's not meat. That's actually soy is really what it is. It's soy protein.
Right.
Textured
and
vegetable
soy
protein.
is also a lot like it mimics estrogen. Did you know that?
Yes, it is not good for men to have a lot of soy.
Right.
Oh.
Right. Yep.
It's dangerous for women as well, but to a lesser extent. But it's actually can be slightly dangerous to just your biological processes as a man to eat a lot of soy. You shouldn't be doing that.
And like we don't eat pork, and I just read in my ramen that there is a thing that's added in here as a flavoring thing. And this is beef ramen, but they extract this ingredient for flavoring, and they get it from multiple meat sources. So it could also be from pork. It basically says, just don't eat this if you're not supposed to eat pork, even though it's not pork. I'm like, well, that's insane. That's shitty. Yeah. They need to put stuff like that in giant letters on the thing, because how was I to know that trisodium monosilocyanate or whatever is like something that might actually be pork? Like, you know what I mean? It's so frustrating. But when there's things like that happen, you know what I say? I say, whatever, dude.
Whatever, dude.
That's what I say. Whatever, dude.
there was more than a few times during my time in Iraq in 2007 that I had to stop a Iraqi national from eating a particular thing. He's like, hey, you don't want that one. You don't want that. He's like, he can sort of read English. He's like, yeah, it's called ham. That's pork. Yeah. You don't want that. What? Right. I get all super upset. It's like, here's turkey. That's way better. Have this turkey.
Right. Yep. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. So, yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us, all the 0 people that are watching.
They'll watch tomorrow. It's all good.
We love all of you.
Yes, me too. Me too. Aww. And please give us a like.
Right. Good night, you guys.
No one ever sees me.